Hi Andy, so obviously it was a 4-0 defeat to West Brom today at the Hawthorns. What did you think of the result?
Result is definitely disappointing. I think the game in kind of breaking it down as you need to, with the way the game's gone today. I think first half we were too slow, to get going. If I'm being honest, and I think we give a little bit too much respect to West Brom. And when you do that, you let them get crosses in. You don't close the ball down quick enough, and ultimately you end up 2-0 down. And it's like an awakening. Then you've got to really rally the troops and step it up and do the right things and start winning the first and second balls, which I felt like we did a lot better second half. But sort of magic moments in the game where you need to get a goal, which then mentally the belief and the thoughts and kind of the actions that you get from the players, then you've got something to build on. But that never quite come this afternoon, unfortunately, because we just didn't have that quality with the final pass or the final shot or the right kind of ball to feet. It was just one of them afternoons really where player was either standing still and looking to receive ball to feet, and player was then putting the ball in kind of in behind. So yeah, I think it's a tough one, because I actually felt out the 4 games that we've played at Tier 3, this was probably one of the games that we felt like we were more in it at times. But credit to West Brom, they've been ruthless when they've got in our box, and I don't feel like we've been as ruthless the opposite end, which is why the game's finished, as we've said, 4-0.
Going into the second half, you finished quite strongly in the game despite what the scoreline was. Was that a positive to take from the game, that the girls weren't giving up despite the game getting away from them in terms of the score?
Yeah, but again, as I've said, you've got to turn that at some point, and you've got to start being more effective, because otherwise you're not going to win football matches. It's as simple as that. So yes, there was better play. We kept the ball better. We stuck to what we do, the patterns that we were looking to play, but still didn't cause enough problems in the West Brom box, in my opinion. I think the quality of shots on target, I don't think the West Brom goalkeepers had to work too hard today, and that is something that without a doubt at Tier 3 we've got to do better. So yes, we kept the ball better. Yes, we played out better, and it went through the midfield. But as soon as we then ended up trying to play a forward pass, and with any note that was going to cause real issues for them, the quality level just wasn't there. And kind of at 2-0, we're coming back into the game in that second half, and then we get sucker punched the opposite end, and kind of mentally that's difficult, not only as a player but also as a coaching team, because you've actually felt like you've started well. And then as the game's gone on, we've adjusted shape. We've obviously, pushed more players forward and won the ball up higher up the pitch. But again, like I say, there's been some really good winning of the ball and a great turn, and kind of then playing that forward pass. And it's just that quality, just to get that ball in the right area, just wasn't quite there.
And this game was obviously played at the Hawthorns, big men's stadium. Do you think this type of experience will help the girls going into the future games?
I think it's fantastic to play at these stadiums, but the key thing for me is that you've got to continue to play the game, whether it's played at the Hawthorns or whether it's played, at the Guardian Warehouse Arena. At the end of the day, we've got to adapt to whatever surroundings or whatever environment that we're playing in, and we've got to be effective with the ball. Yes, it's fantastic to play on this pitch, but it's never fantastic to lose a game 4-0. So for me, it doesn't really matter where we're playing. It's just making sure that we're actually executing what we've been doing in training, and stop the opposition getting crosses in the box, and stop giving corners away. Do you know what I mean? So they're the two big things really, and the third one being us being more effective in their box. And I think if we do that, then you score goals and you build on that, and ultimately games are a lot tighter than they are when it's 4-0.
It's obviously Liverpool Feds up next. Have you seen enough from this game to believe that you can turn a positive result?
Look, we've got a lot of young players. We've got a lot of new players, as we continue to say, and there's a lot of players that are getting a rude awakening of the differences between Tier 4 and Tier 3. So yes, I'm seeing positives. Yes, I'm seeing impact from players that have come off the bench today and have done well in that second half. So there's positives there, but ultimately I'm not deluded. I've been in football long enough. You've got to start defending, like what we've said, better, and we've got to start putting the ball in the other end. And I think once we start doing that, then you'll start picking points up and you'll start winning football matches. So we've got to we've got to make sure that we are picking them positives and that we're taking that into the next games and being effective from the minute go and taking that throughout 90 minutes. Because if I look at the games so far, I felt like we've started games very, very well, and the second half has been a difficult time for us. Whereas today, I felt like it was the reverse. I felt like the second half was a better performance, but it took too long to get into the game. And teams at Tier 3 that are seasoned teams like these, they'll punish you if you're not at it from the start.
Thank you, Andy.
No problem at all.